All right. Hello, everyone. Hey, this is Jack Kelly with another episode of Blind Bytes. Got a short, condensed version of a podcast that's going to give you some information you need really quickly, not spending a whole hour, 2 hours on a topic. Today, I want to talk about recruiters, headhunters, and what you need to know about them. If you're looking for a job, you need a job, most often part of looking for a new opportunity is to find a recruiter. And recruiters, and listen, I gotta say this, I've been doing this for 25 plus years. I get it. People could love you, hate you. It's like any other profession. Some are great, some aren't. They're great accountants, they're great stockbrokers, they're great lawyers, and there's some terrible stockbrokers, lawyers, accountants. It runs a gamut. And I think there's a lot of frustration, that people have when you deal with a recruiter. You feel either A, they're like pushy, why do you keep bothering me? I don't want a job now, leave me alone. Or they just blow you off and ghost you. You're like, what the heck? I need you. Why? I have to find a job. Help me out. So I think people are left confused. Like, what goes on? Like, why is it? Why do they blow me off, or why do they annoy me? Well, I'm here to answer that. Here's the deal. I'll walk you through it really so you understand how this works. And by understanding how it works, it could help you in terms of finding a new job, and then also having good recruiters who can guide you through the rest of your career. So there are different kinds of recruiters. Here's the first thing. You have what you call retained search. Retained search usually is for C-suite executives, chief financial officer, chief executive officer, chief risk officer, chief compliance officer, kind of the more senior people. It's not exclusively C-suite. It could be underneath that, like senior level people, a little underneath. And with retained searches, what will happen is this. You'll have a company that will go out to Jack Kelly and say, hey, we have this role. We need a chief financial officer. Here's what we're looking for. So, you give all the details. Jack Kelly and his company would be the only ones recruiting for this role. So what happens is that you don't have other competition. So you're working on it, and you could just, find the right people, come up with a slate of maybe 3 to 6 different qualified, appropriate, suitable candidates, and share it with the company. Interviews take place, and they find so. Then you have something called contingent search. With contingent search, it's different than retained. A company will say, hey, Jack, we have this role, for, XYZ. Would you like to work and recruit for us? Sure, I'd love to. Get a contract and all that kind of good stuff. Then what happens? Rudely, they don't just leave it with Jack Kelly. They'll also say, hey, 123 search firm, XYZ search firm, such and such search firm, this search firm. They'll give it out to 5, 10 different people. Then not only do they give it out to all these other search firms, they'll post it on LinkedIn, they'll post it on Indeed, they'll post it on Blind, they'll post it on Glassdoor. So it's all over the place. They'll post it on their own site. So now picture this, you're a recruiter. And with contingency, that's the vast majority of the types of searches. That's where most of it takes place for the people, the white collar folks who watch these shows and listen to the podcast. So that the chance of speaking with the retained, maybe 5%, 2%, 3%, probably 80, 90, 95% would be dealing with contingency recruiters. So that probably makes the most sense for you to understand. There's also staffing, which is more like temp gig works. We'll put that aside for another episode. With contingency, as I mentioned, they're going to give it out to the world. So think about how that works. So they give it out to everybody. I'm a recruiter, I get it. And I know that, maybe there's 5 other search firms working on it and they're putting it on different postings. So I have to get to that candidate for that job really quickly. And I have to find someone who fits the bill and entice them to say, hey, here's this great opportunity. The subtext is like, yeah, your job sucks, but this is a better job, more money, more opportunity, more stock options, all that kind of stuff. So you want to get them interested and excited. More often than not, companies, when they use the search firm, they want to find somebody who's currently working happy, and you could pull them away and entice them to leave. Everyone wants what they don't have, so that if that person's working, doing well, they want to kind of get that person, steal them away. You will take someone who's not working, but I'm just kind of giving you a kind of picture of how this works. And you can imagine how competitive it is, so that if you're trying to find somebody for a certain role, so let's say I specialize in compliance. So I'm looking for this compliance person who's going to be responsible for cryptocurrency platform, knowing anti-money laundering, what have you. So everybody else is diving in for that too. So you have to quickly find out who can I find who has that background, has that experience, get in front of them, pitch them the job, get them interested in the job, and get their resume to the company and start the interview process. But while I'm doing it, there's all these other places doing it. So it's really, and what happens with contingency recruiting. Now get this, you may not be aware of it. It's kind of an eat what you kill mentality, meaning that if you make a placement and the person stays at the company for a certain length of time, you get paid. Usually, the placement fees run from maybe 20% to 30%, depending on the contract, depending on the company, depending on the level. So the money starts getting big. It could be $20,000, $30,000, $40,000, $50,000 fees, depending on how senior the executive is that you're working to place. So you could see there's a lot of competition, a lot of rivalry, a lot of trying to get that person. So with that in mind, think about how this works. It's a race to get that person before your competitors do. So what happens? And this is where I think people get frustrated. I'll call up, or any other recruiter. Let's just take me, for example. So I'm going to call up, Christine, and say, I have this role. Here's what it is, and so forth, because I've seen her LinkedIn profile. I've heard good things about her. People recommend me to call her. And I'm going to be pitching her hard, because I know if I can get her to say, yeah, I'll be open to looking, I feel that I have a really good chance, maybe an 80% plus chance, that if she interviews, she'll get that job. So she'll get the job, she'll get more money, maybe a higher title, maybe a remote option, and my firm will get a fee, and a nice hefty fee. So there's that motivation to get her. Now, if she says, well, I don't know, let me think about it, I'll get back to you. Do you think a recruiter would be like, oh, okay? Or will the recruiter be like, wait, no, let's talk about it some more. Let's have another conversation. Let's go out for some coffee. Let's go out to get some food to eat. You're not going to just say, okay, because if you just say, maybe the other recruiter will get a hold of Christine and they'll place her. Or, I just lose out on somebody who could kind of get a placement done. So that's what's really cutthroat. So think about now that you get the picture, right? You get the big picture. When a recruiter is hitting you up like relentlessly, they're not being jerks. Well, maybe they could be jerks, but they're not being jerks in the sense that they know if you would be open, you'd be a perfect fit. This will be a great job for you. You could advance within your career, and the recruiter will do well as well. So they have to be pushing. They have to kind of keep following up. They have to stay on it, because if they don't, their competitor is going to maybe place the person and you just lost out. Now, I'm using the example of one person, but you're speaking to lots of different people. You're gonna be hitting them up on LinkedIn and different sites and making lots of calls. So there's a lot of time and effort into it. And if you don't make the placement, you could spend weeks or months searching for people, sourcing people, interviewing people, setting them out on interviews with the company, and it turns out they don't hire a person. So you may have spent hours and months to do this, and there's no like trophy for second place. The person who places the applicant and successfully stays with the company for a specified period of time gets the fee. So if you don't keep going and pushing and trying, you could lose out. But if you do keep pushing, yeah, it's going to annoy people. So this is why it's a very bizarre situation. And that maybe like the light bulb might be going for you. Oh, now I understand why they're so pushy. All right. I didn't realize. I thought they just get paid a salary and, they get a salary and they're doing their job. If they place, they place. If they don't, they don't. They just get their salary. Everything is good. Now, maybe some recruiting firms have that, but I'm sorry, the vast majority don't. So that's why they act that way. And that's why you like, wow, leave me alone. So maybe now knowing that you have a little bit more empathy for them, or when you have a conversation, you say, hey, Jack, I get how it works and why you're kind of really pitching me hard, but I'm really not interested. I promise you, I'm not going to go through another recruiter. I promise you, I'm not going to submit my resume. I'm not doing it, but I do have a lead for you. I think Mike would be really good, and I'll send over, his LinkedIn bio, give him a call. On the other side of the equation, now this will make sense for you too. On the other side of the equation, where people like, where is that recruiter when I need him or her? They're always bothering me, but then when I need them, where are they? The reason is this: that person doesn't have the skills, background, accreditation, credentials, educational background to fit the job you're recruiting for. And the cold, hard truth is, and I hope you appreciate it. I'm like, everyone's going to hate me for saying this, but I'm a transparent person. So I want to tell you what really goes on behind the scenes. So what happens is this: if, let's say, somebody calls me and say, hey, Jack, yeah, hey, I'm interested in this and that, but that person doesn't have the background, skills, experience for the jobs that I'm working on. The more time I spend with that person, I'm taken away from the time to find the right person. Now, that doesn't mean I would be rude to the person who's saying, hey, Jack, I need your help. I lost my job. Oh, please help me. What happens where a lot of recruiters, you specialize in a field, in a sector, so that I specialize compliance, legal, risk, anti-money laundering, financial controls, those kind of things. So if someone comes to me and they're a Java programmer, I need your help. I literally can, because I don't know enough about it. I don't have the contacts with companies. I don't have placement agreements with these firms. So I really can help them. Even if you could put a gun to my head, but I don't have the ability. I don't have the know-how. I don't understand it well enough to do a good job. So what happens, the person who's looking for the help walks away like, Jack is a complete a-hole. He's a jerk. He just blew me off. Now, it's not that I'm blowing him off. I just can't help. I don't know it well enough. But that's somehow translated to, oh, he doesn't want to help. And that's why, if you notice where you feel like, why are you blowing me off? They're blowing you off. And it sounds harsh to blame blowing off, but I'm just saying that so you kind of get what I mean. So if you feel like you're getting blown off, it's really because they can't help you. They don't know enough about what you do. They don't specialize in it. They're not sure where to go, who to send a resume to. So should they be polite and say that? But I think a lot of times, recruiters, just like anybody else, we have egos. A lot of recruiters have huge egos. If you speak to them, you know what I'm talking about. So they have huge egos. So they may not want to say, hey, like I just did, saying, hey, like I don't know these areas and I can't really add value because I don't have connections. I don't understand it well enough and I wouldn't add value. Other recruiters wouldn't say that, right? They're not going to say the truth because they don't want to like make it like they don't know stuff. So you're left feeling, wow, I just got blown up. What you may want to do if that happens, you ask a recruiter for advice. You want to find a recruiter who specializes in your area, who knows your area, who has contacts, who could help place you, knows the hiring managers, knows the HR people, knows the corporate culture, could navigate you through. Because that's really what it boils down to. You want to find that right person who fits. And you could find these recruiters on LinkedIn. I have a recruiter directory of recruiters. You can check that out. And I think that'll be helpful for you to understand the dynamics. The dynamics are really nuts if you think about it. The eat what you kill, like if you could work your butt off and do such hard work to find somebody, and then just some random candidate applies online and they get the job, and like all your time and effort was for nothing. So it's this very odd cocktail of things, the way it works. And then also how you can see sometimes recruiters being a little snarky, a little short of attention span, a little frustrated because it's really stacked against them. It's a really rough job. And I'm not asking for your sympathy or feeling bad. I just want to, with these, blind bites, to give you these insights you may not hear from anywhere else. Now, intuitively, you might have thought, I kind of thought it was that way, but now I feel better. I understand, and now I get it. Now I understand why these recruiters do what they do. And then also it helps you, because then you can make your life easier to say, if you find, if you're looking for a job and you go to a recruiter who doesn't do your stuff, you're like, oh, I get it. I'm barking up the wrong tree. Can you point me in the right direction? Who is a recruiter who is good to help me with my particular career, my particular expertise? So I hope that helps out, give you a flavor for how this works, and maybe gives you some clarity and empathy to how this works. So that next time you get a call from a recruiter or don't get a call from a recruiter, you understand the game. A lot of these things are games. So you understand how the game is being played. So then I have to find a certain kind of recruiter who specializes in my field. They understand it. They know the people. They know the hiring managers. They know how much I can get paid. They know what my chances are of getting hired. Hey, and that's what I go to. And if I get blown off, it's not that I'm getting blown off. It's that person can't help me right now. So I hope this helps give you some color and clarity on this kind of weird, profession and how it works. As always, if you have any questions, if you want to learn more about, headhunters or recruiters, if you run into issues with headhunters, recruiters, you want to say like, what do I do? Feel free to hit me up on LinkedIn, on Blind, on Twitter. I'd be glad to help you out. So it's Jack Kelly for Blind Bytes. And I hope this was helpful and illuminating. And now you have a little bit more knowledge what to do when a recruiter calls or doesn't call. Thanks so much. Oh, wait. I got to say this. Hold on. Well, that's it for the Blind Ambition podcast. If you enjoyed the show, please leave 5 stars, recommend us, tell your friends, tell your family, tell your kids to watch it. Check us out on Spotify, YouTube, iTunes, wherever podcasts are being shown. So thanks so much. I really appreciate it. Any questions, let me know. Thanks. Take care. Bye.